Governor Chris Christie celebrating his victory tonight in Asbury Park, New Jersey. A second-term win that solidifies his place as one of the GOP's premier politicians.
How about this, New Jersey?
He ad-libbed a great deal of his speech, highlighting the straight-talking style that's helped make him a star.
I guess there is open bar tonight, huh? Welcome to New Jersey.
The Republican spent the day doing some last-minute campaigning in the Garden State, and he invited us along for the ride. And he had some advice for his fellow Republicans.
The party's got to focus on winning again. Sometimes I feel like our party cares more about winning the argument than they care about winning elections. And if you don't win elections, you can't govern. And if you can't govern, you can't change the direction of a state like we've done in New Jersey. And so, I think we need to get ourselves refocused on that. And secondly, I think sometimes we forget that candidates matter. I mean, it's not just about a checklist of issues. It's also about how a person presents themselves as a candidate, how they articulate their view on things, and how they react to situations. And people make judgments based on all those things.
It's interesting you say that, because I heard a criticism from a Democrat about you, and actually more about the media and the public, which is that if Christie wins, in their view, this Democrat's view, it's a triumph of personality over policy. Meaning people in this state tend to disagree with you on a lot of issues, but they're going to re-elect you because they like your style. Is that a fair criticism?
No, it's why they're losing, because they think that that's the way people make decisions. It's kind of what I was implying in the last answer. They think that people go down a checklist of issues and like a pro and con, and they draw a line down the middle of the sheet and they go, okay, well, if there's more checks for this person than for that person, then that's the person I vote for. That's not the way people vote, in my experience. I think that voting is much more visceral. People say, can I trust this person? Do they lead? Do they tell me the truth? They look at the issues too. But that analysis from that Democrat is just like as if people are robots and they just check a list. And I say this to folks in town hall meetings all the time. If you're looking for the candidate you agree with 100% of the time, go home and look in the mirror, because you're it. You're the only person you agree with 100% of the time. And if we demand that of candidates, then you know what they're going to do? They'll just lie to you.
Are you a Tea Party Republican?
Well, I'll tell you something. I think that there's elements of the Tea Party that are Republicans at their best. Limited government, in favor of individual liberty and freedom, tough on government spending, questioning taxes and whether you need to expand them or grow them. So I think there's the core of the Tea Party movement, as I understand it, I think is very consistent with good conservative republicanism. Now what happens is when some folks use that movement, use that theory just to try to enhance themselves politically, sometimes that movement can then get perverted. And so, there's a lot of principles about the Tea Party that I agree with and have governed in New Jersey in a way that's consistent with a lot of that.
A lot of Tea Partiers I've heard from think that you're what they call a rhino, Republican in name only.
That's some folks who will say, if you ever say anything nice about a Democrat, you're a rhino. They can call me whatever they want. I don't really care. My view is let people judge me by my record. I'm a guy who's cut taxes $2.3 billion in the state. Our budget in fiscal 2014 spends less than John Corzine's in fiscal 2008. We've reformed teacher tenure. We've reformed pension and benefits to make folks pay more for their pensions and to lose their cost of living adjustments. I mean, if they did that stuff in Washington, they'd be having a parade for the Washington Republicans. So they can call me whatever they want to call me. You look at my record. I think most people objectively look at my record, as we were talking about before when we were outside. It's a solid conservative record. And I mean, for goodness sakes, almost everybody's being called a rhino now. If you weren't in favor of the government shutdown, you're a rhino. I don't pay any attention to that.
Even though he's secured the job of governor for 4 more years, many suspect Christie's sights are already set on a 2016 presidential bid. And while Christie insists he's focused on his new term as governor, he has taken steps to address some of the questions that might nag a presidential hopeful, such as his health. He recently had lap band surgery to help control his weight.
Yeah.
A couple of people back there talking about you look great. How do you feel? How is your health?
I feel really good. We're a little bit more than halfway to my goal in the last 8 months, so that's really good. And I sleep better. I mean, the biggest difference for me, I didn't feel badly at my previous weight, but I didn't realize how poorly I slept until how well I've been sleeping. Yeah, woke up a lot during the night, and I just didn't get a lot of continuous sleep. And I was just sleeping a lot better. So it's really bad news for my staff because I have more energy, which they didn't think was possible.
You're halfway to your goal?
A little more than halfway. A little more than halfway to my goal in 8 months. So I'm really happy about that. Yeah, it's a great feeling, and it's it's hard work, but I feel like for the first time in 25 years, I feel like I've got a pathway, which is really nice. Really nice not to be as frustrated as I was before.